There's this deep distrust in some parts of the country as to how ballots are tallied. Of course, we've seen that since before 2016. In Cochise County, Arizona, the officials there actually ordered hand counts, despite the county attorney there warning it violates state law. Then in Nevada, in Nye County, officials will start hand counting mail-in ballots this week. What do you have to say about hand counting the ballots? I mean, is this something that Americans should be paying closer attention to?
Yes, Adrian, because hand counting is slow, methodical, subject to error, and of course, subject to tampering in a way that digital counting is not. In some states, hand counting is prohibited. In some states, it's mandated. It's the beauty of our system. You know, the elections, we don't have one national election. We have 51, I'm counting the District of Columbia, separate elections. So this is really a local issue based upon local law. But I have to tell you, if they are resorting to hand counting, that's pretty much the last straw. That means that all the high-tech means that the government has invested in its voting apparatus has failed. And we're using a procedure that they used at the time of the Civil War.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that puts it in perspective. In Pennsylvania, you know, the state Supreme Court couldn't decide whether undated and incorrectly dated ballots violated federal law. So now a court's ordering election officials not to count those ballots. Should the date be considered?
Yes, the date should be considered, and the issue is exclusively up to the states. So the Supreme Court of the United States is not going to tell election officials in Pennsylvania whether or not they should count ballots that are undated or have improper addresses on them. Only the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania can do that. And the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has sided with election integrity. If there's no date on it, or if there's an improper address on it, how do we know that it's a valid ballot? That's the judgment call that the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has made. That word should get out to election officials. So if somebody shows up with a ballot that doesn't have a date on it or an address on it, the election official should say, put the date on it, put your address on it, otherwise this is not going to count.